Ciao a tutti, sono Prof. Gisli, benvenuti sul mio canale. In today's lesson, we conclude the Italian alphabet topic by introducing tricky consonant clusters and by looking at the way foreign letters are pronounced in Italian. If you haven't already done so, I suggest you watch the previous videos, especially part 1 and 2, where I have explained how some clusters with letters C and G are formed and how they sound. Knowing those clusters will help you understand today's topic better. In earlier lessons, we have seen that some consonants change sound depending on the vowels that follow them, and that they do so by pairing with other letters and by forming clusters called digraphs, where two letters represent one sound. We have identified two types of digraphs: the ones formed by two consonants, as CH and GH, representing sounds K and G, and those formed by one consonant and one vowel, as CE and GE, representing sounds Ch and J. CH and GH are combined with vowels E and E to produce K, Ki, and Ge, Gi. CE and GE are combined with vowels A, O, U to produce Cha, Cho, Chu, and Ja, Jo, Ju. There are 7 digraphs in Italian. In addition to the ones you already know, that is CE, GE, CH, and GH, there are 3 more digraphs formed by two consonants. These are GL, which sounds like L, GN, which sounds like N, and SC, which sounds like Sh. Whereas sh is a familiar sound to English-speaking learners, sounds L and N might take some time for you to get used to, but again, persevere in practicing them and you'll soon be able to get the perfect pronunciation. One thing you should be aware of is that 2 of these digraphs, GL and SC, can also function as normal clusters, where 2 letters represent 2 sounds. Let's take a closer look at them. When group GL functions as a regular 2-letter cluster, it sounds as GL. When it functions as a digraph, it sounds as LY. It is a regular cluster when it's followed by vowels A, E, O, U, so the combined sounds would be GLA, GLE, GLO, GLU. It also acts as a regular cluster in some words when it is followed by vowel E, and the resulting sound is GLI. However, these are rare occurrences because most of the time GL followed by vowel E functions as digraph Y and the combined sound is LI. Let's start practicing the pronunciation of GL by looking at words where it functions as regular cluster GL. Ascoltate. GL, glassa. Ripetete. GL, glassa. Ascoltate, gl, inglese. Ripetete, gl, inglese. Ascoltate, gl, globo. Ripetete, gl, globo. Ascoltate, gl, igloo. Ripetete, gl, igloo. Ascoltate, gl, glicine. Ripetete, gl, glicine. Moving on to digraph Y, let's focus first of all on the right way to pronounce it. The trick is to place the tongue against the middle section of the palate, leaving enough space at the side of the tongue for the air to flow and produce the distinctive sound Y. When you start learning Italian and you come across this sound for the first time, you might be tempted to pronounce it in the same way as letter L, L. But there is quite a difference between sounds L and Y. This can be heard, for example, when we say two words like fili and figli. Try and repeat them. Fili, figli. What's the difference between these two words? Well, when you say fili, the l sound is produced with no air obstruction, whereas when you say figli, you can actually hear that the air is forced through a narrow space that is not free to flow. Fili, figli. Got it? Now let's practice more words. Ascoltate, gli, fogli. Ripetete, gli, fogli. Ascoltate, gli, conigli. Ripetete, gli, conigli. Consonant group GN is always pronounced as ñ. It is always a digraph, whatever the vowel that follows it. So we have sounds ña, ñe, ñi, ño, ñu. Let's see how to pronounce it correctly. To pronounce digraph ñ, you must press the tongue against the palate. At the same time, you must make sure that it also seals any gaps to prevent the air from escaping through the mouth. In fact, to get this sound, the air must be released through the nose. This is another tricky sound for Italian learners to master, and you might inadvertently pronounce it as you pronounce letter N, rather than ñ. But in this case too, the sounds are quite different. Here is a useful word pair which might make you notice the difference a bit better. Lana and lagna. Again, lana, lagna. I suggest you repeat these words a few times to get used to the sound. But now let's practice more words. Ascoltate, ñ, pigna. Ripetete, ñ, pigna. Ascoltate, ñ, lasagne. Ripetete, ñ, lasagne. Ascoltate, ñ, cigni. Ripetete, ñ, cigni. Ascoltate, ñ, gnomo. Ripetete, ñ, gnomo. Ascoltate, ñ, gnu. Ripetete, ñ, gnu. When group SC behaves as a regular cluster, it sounds as sk. This happens whenever it is followed by vowels a, o, u, as in ska, sko, sku. As a digraph, SC is pronounced as sh, and this happens when it is followed by vowels e and I. The resulting sound combinations are she and she. Now we first practice a few words containing cluster sk, and then look at words containing digraph sh. Ascoltate, sk, scala. Ripetete, sk, scala. Ascoltate, sk, disco. Ripetete, sk, disco. Ascoltate, sk, scudo. Ripetete, sk, scudo. Ascoltate, sh, pesce. Ripetete, sh, pesce. Ascoltate, sh, sci. Ripetete, sh, she. Trigraphs are groups of 3 letters representing one sound. In Italian there are 2 trigraphs, both formed by 2 consonants and 1 vowel. The first is GLE, which sounds as Y. The second is SCE, which sounds as sh. These sounds are the same as digraphs y and sh, but they tend to sound as if they were doubled. For this reason, we represent them with double symbols. Trigraph L is used before vowels A, E, O, U. The sounds resulting from these combinations are ya, ye, yo, lu. The difference between digraph L and trigraph L is subtle, the only distinctive trait being the length of the sound. So, for instance, in the word fogli, the L sound is less strong than in the word foglio, where we use the trigraph L. So once again, fogli, foglio. And now let's look at some more examples. Ascoltate. Y, medaglia. Ripetete. Y, medaglia. Ascoltate. Y, moglie. Ripetete. Y, moglie. Ascoltate. Y, foglio. Ripetete. Y, foglio. Trigraph sh is used before vowels a, o, u, and the resulting sound combinations are sha, sho, shu. Remember that letter E in this case is only a graphic sign and must not be pronounced. So again, you say sha, sho, shu. Ascoltate. Sh, ascia. Ripetete. Sh, ascia. Ascoltate. Sh, guscio. Ripetete. Sh, guscio. Ascoltate. Sh, prosciutto. Ripetete. Sh, prosciutto. In the first lesson, I mentioned that the Italian alphabet includes 5 foreign letters: I lunga, K, W, X, and Y. But the truth is that some of these so-called foreign letters once survived the transition from vulgar Latin to Italian regional dialects and eventually entered the Italian language too. So letters K, Y, and X were regularly used up to the Middle Ages. I lunga, functioning as semi-consonant y, was used up to the beginning of the 20th century, although you can still find a small group of words spelt with this letter in contemporary Italian. The only real foreign letter in the Italian alphabet is actually W. Nowadays, foreign letters are mainly used in words of foreign origin. Let's look at the way these letters are pronounced in Italian. Now listen and repeat. Jolly, Juventus, Karate, Xilofono, Yoga, Web, www. Let's summarize today's lesson's key points. First of all, we have looked at digraphs, groups of 2 letters representing one sound. In Italian there are 7 of them, and they are CH, GH, CI, GI, GL, GN, and SC. The sounds they represent are K, G, Ch, J, J, Ñ, and Sh. We have seen that groups GL and SC can also function as regular clusters, in which case they will sound as GL and SK. Today we have also looked at trigraphs, groups of 3 letters representing one sound. In Italian there are 2 trigraphs, GLE, which sounds as L, and SCE, which sounds as sh. Finally, we have looked at the sounds of foreign letters, some of which have more than one sound. So, ilunga has 2 sounds, J and Y. K sounds like K. W has 2 sounds, U and V. X sounds as X. Y or Y sounds as Y. This brings us to the end of our 5-part lesson on the Italian alphabet, which I hope you have found useful. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson. Arrivederci!